This is going to be a 3D Bloom resin tutorial with JDiction High Gloss Resin in our 8-point flower mold. I'm going to be using alcohol inks by Octopus Fluids and Tim Holtz, along with Castin Craft white pigment paste. I first mixed up about 3 ounces of resin, put aside 0.68 ounces for my white, and put the rest on the bottom. As you saw, the resin was at about 41 degrees Celsius or 41.4, which is okay because the high gloss resin has a long working time. This is just JDiction's regular resin. I've used their low viscosity resin for blooms in the past, which I love, and this one seemed to work just as well. And I'm putting a little bit of crushed glass and glitter in the center there. And I'm starting off with Octopus Fluids, alcohol ink, and Marigold, and just putting the dots around my center. Then I'm going to be using the Boysenberry by Tim Holtz. It's an alcohol ink. And these are very concentrated inks, much more so than the inks that tend to get very wispy that you buy on Amazon that have no real color to them at all. Tim Holtz Ranger inks, I guess, are kind of darker, and it seemed to work really good in this resin. And that is the Vineyard. I think this came in a set, the Boysenberry, Vineyard, and then there's a blue color, a set of 3 of them. And then I go back in and put a second round of the Boysenberry in because it looked like it was breaking up a little bit. And for my white, I have the 0.68 ounces aside with 6 drops of the Castin Craft in it. And I'm going to be putting that in a piping bag and just starting off with concentric circles, starting from the center and moving out. And then I also go out into the flower petals as well. It's so easy to do blooms. I don't understand why people have such a hard time or saying they can't get blooms to work. I've had blooms work in every sort of resin, low viscosity, medium viscosity, regular 1-to-1 resin. It's just, if you have the right products, there's no reason it shouldn't work. I've never had a bloom not turn out for me. And there's so many tutorials out there, although it's all the same basic idea. And the Castin Craft works great because it doesn't drop all the way through and leave blobs on the front of your piece. And I usually use resin inks, which are very highly concentrated, and these Tim Holtz ones hold their color as well, so you end up with very bold, bright colors on the front and not just wispy remnants of color like some of the cheaper alcohol inks leave. And here I'm just drawing my points in, going from outside to in off the points of the flower. And then I'm going to go from inside to out to the inside points. And as you see, waiting to get to the 41 degrees Celsius, it gives the resin time to set up so those inks do not dissipate. They just stay where you put them. And that's what I believe is the trick to this. If you're doing your blooms at around 32 or 33 degrees Celsius, I don't think that's warm enough yet. Things just tend to break apart at that temperature, as you'll see in the finished result. Once that's done, I mixed up about 2.05 ounces of resin for the back, and I have 5 tiny scoops of my silvery black mica and a half scoop of Pearl X Micropearl. No glitter. And this mold of ours, it's only about a 5-ounce mold, so it doesn't take a lot of resin to fill up. This is our 8-point flower mold. And I'm just teasing the resin into the corners because I didn't want it to overflow. This is a pretty long video for me today. This is 5 minutes long, aside from my usual 2 to 3 minute video. A lot of extra time here. And then finally it's time to demold, and let's see how those colors turned out. Ah, they're beautiful. Those pinks and purples just popped. When you use higher quality inks, they don't tend to blend and change into different colors either.